I have to make a video about this because as we're doing this Kubernetes preparation, this is the second week in a row that we've done 1 to 5 on Fridays to do this preparation, and most people that know me already know the background I have, and then the people that are in the stream, they usually have the same background. So if you're trying to get into Kubernetes, I just have to make a video that very quickly says, just don't bother if you have not learned the stuff to help you be on the terminal to become a shell native. So what is a shell native? A shell native is somebody, a shell native is someone who lives on the terminal shell command line. If you're not living on the terminal shell command line, you have no business going for Kubernetes. You don't. That means that you need to know, and this is a separate video. I'm not going to do it all, but it means that you know how to script in Bash, like you know how to script in Bash and Dash, and you know what the difference is, and you know how. I mean, that's at least the minimum, right? You need to just be like fluent on the command line. If you want CLI integration, all that. Okay, so I mean, it's really probably no news to you that you need to know those things, because you can't. You have to know. You have to know. You have to be a shell native, right? And I'm going to do another video on the other stuff. But if you don't know shell, don't bother. If you don't know where to learn it, so consider the beginner boost. Let's see, Linux terminal, we've called it. We was going to call it shell native, but I'm just going to call it terminal beginner. Terminal beginner boost, and the boost is at http github.com rbx rob boost. For right now, it's in the middle of transition, so you can go use it. Make sure you click on the old link, and it'll take you to day 0 through 43. But I'm currently in the middle of revamping that, and so you can take a peek at that. The overall outline is pretty solid at this point. So this is the new outline I'm working on. So RDBX method and values, it's like how to learn Docker for developers. You have to know Docker. I'm going to do a different video about that. Leveraging Linux containers. You need to know containers. Learning the Bash command line. Bash scripting and with ed and Vim. You need even, yeah. You only get to use Vim on the command on the test, so you should learn it. Screen and ed and tmux multiplexers, so that you can use multiple screens at the same time. You don't need a window manager. This is not required for Kubernetes. It's just required in general to be a terminal native or a shell native. It's like knowing how to access the web through a terminal and not have to use a web browser. I mean, a graphic web browser. Git and GitHub and Docker Hub, you need to know those things to do any of this stuff. Because, I mean, the reason you need to know Docker Hub and that is because when you use Kubernetes, you're going to be doing a lot of internal private registry stuff. And if you don't have any point of reference for how to use a registry, then you're going to be lost, because you're like, we're going to set up Portis or Harbor or whatever. And it's just, you say, oh, that's an internal registry. You're like, well, what is that? Or if you use Kind, and you can say, hey, you can use Docker as your own private registry. Well, if you don't know what a registry is because you haven't learned what Docker Hub is and GitHub are, then you're not ready for any of that. So you need to learn that. Data, that includes YML and JSON. I'm actually going to include data to probably also include template. I don't know whether to put it in Go or here, but you're going to need to learn the template syntax for Go. You're going to need to learn JSON path. All of these things. Markdown is how you document everything, and Pandoc how you convert those documents to other forms. And then all of the cloud native space is all written in Go. The link's not working because they're not there yet. They're not created yet. And I probably should get rid of them until they are. Yeah, let me do that, so people don't get a lie about this. I haven't made all the content yet. It's not reorganized. Go, as I said just now, go look at the beginner, at the old stuff for now, and then this is how we're going to be organizing it. So we're going to do all this, and this is going to be a Udemy course as well as a free on YouTube, and it's going to be more baked than the previous boost. So that's what I'm in the middle of doing right now, in case you're wondering. So that's all I have to say about that. Don't even bother with the Kubernetes thing until you are a shell native. and until you have passed all the content of a Linux beginner boost of some kind, and you feel like you know all that stuff. If you don't know it, there's a few things in the beginner boost that are not necessary for Kubernetes, like, I don't know, using links, but curl definitely is. And so just do it all and then learn that however you want to do. Maybe that'll give you an outline for what you need to learn, but don't even bother doing Kubernetes until you know that. And the reason I need to say it too is because I'm going to be doing a lot of shell scripting and stuff during my Friday afternoons while I do this stuff. And I'm not going to spend any time explaining it, because I expect you to already be a ShellNative who knows how to shell script. And if you're not that, you can hang on the channel in different times and we'll work on that stuff pretty much every night. But otherwise we're not going to go ahead and get that. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and stop.